Hey, Truth Seekers, welcome back. Zach here. It's January 18th, 2016, Martin Luther King Jr. Day in the United States. In this video, I want to talk about his death, Malcolm X's death, and what those historical deaths foreshadow for the 44th President, Barack Hussein Obama. If you're new to my channel, I talk a lot about numerology and gematria, the practice of coding numbers into words. Gematria is an ancient language, a language that the English alphabet is based on, and the elites who rule over us know this and use this language of gematria actively, coding it into their agents. Martin Luther King Jr. and Malcolm X, if you can believe it, were agents of the establishment, just as Barack Hussein Obama is. Most people wouldn't question me saying that about Barack Hussein Obama. Some wouldn't question about Martin Luther King Jr. A lot would disagree about Malcolm X. Truth Seeker, just because these men were agents doesn't mean they were bad. A lot of things Malcolm X and Martin Luther King Jr. said were very true. Martin Luther King Jr.'s speech given April 4th, 1967, a year to the day of his assassination, a speech called A Time to Break Silence, is the truest speech ever given that I've heard with my own ears. He talks about how the United States is the greatest purveyor of violence and terrorism in the world, and as long as the people remain silent about the truth of their nation, things will only continue to grow worse. Gave that speech in 67, 49 years ago. And he's absolutely right. Things have only become worse since that day. At the end of this video, I'm going to link that video for you to watch. If you've never heard that speech, it's 53 minutes. You have to hear it. So anyhow, look at the name Martin Luther King Jr. In Pythagorean gematria, his name sums to 93. The name Malcolm X in simple English gematria sums to 93. Neither of these are their birth names. Martin Luther King Jr., not his birth name. Malcolm X, not his birth name. But both having gematria of 93, a very special number. Both Malcolm X and Martin Luther King Jr. were assassinated at the age of 39, the reflection of 93. In simple English gematria, the name Martin Luther King Jr. sums to 228. Notice the gematria of United States of America. It has gematria of all these numbers: 84, 93, 102, 228. Martin Luther King Jr., the small way equals 93 and 102. The big way, 228, and his middle name, Luther, has gematria of 84. All the numbers of United States of America. Martin Luther King Jr. is the only American to ever be born in the country and have a holiday named after him. Nobody else. With regards to 228, the big way, think about the final date of Black History Month, February 28th, 2/28. A lot like United States of America, a lot like Martin Luther King Jr. February 28th is the 59th day of the year, except for in leap years. Well, it's always the 59th day of the year, but February ends on the 60th day of the year in leap years. Anyhow, with regards to the number 59, it's a number stamped on black Americans. Negro equals 59, slave equals 59, blues equals 59, Rasta equals 59. Motown Records came out in 59. If you're new to my work, I have a lot of videos showing how 59 has been coded on notable black Americans throughout history. Again, February is Black History Month. It's the only month with a gematria of 42. No other month sums to 42. The most hateful word for black Americans, nigger, has gematria of 42. Think about it, Black History Month. And look how it breaks down. N's the 14th letter. 1 plus 4 becomes 5, so N represents 5. I is the 9th letter. NI is 59. The other number stamped. E, the 5th letter. R, the 18th. 1 plus 8 becomes 9. ER, 59. A double 59 coding inside of this word that sums to 42. And 42 and 59 are numbers stamped on black Americans again and again. The name Rodney King equaled 59. Rodney King died, his birthday was April 2nd. Rodney King equals 59, birthday 4/2, April 2nd. In the O.J. Simpson trial, it said that Mark Furman said the word nigger 42 times. Jackie Robinson wore 42. As for Martin Luther King Jr.'s birthday, he was born on a date with 64 numerology. Civil rights equals 64. The Civil Rights Act happened in 1964. In the year 1864 was the first time our Congress ever debated legislation having to do with race. Civil rights in 1864 as well, after the Civil War. Barack Hussein Obama was elected the 44th president 44 years after the 64 Civil Rights Act in 2008. Barack Hussein Obama in Pythagorean Gematria equals 64. Also not his birth name. His birth name's Barry Soetoro. The name Barry in Simple English Gematria equals 64. The name Barack Obama in Simple English Gematria equals 68, like the year Dr. King was assassinated, April 4th, 4468. Now check this out with regards to 44 and April 4th. Martin Luther King Jr. was assassinated April 4th. Obama's the 44th president. When you write out 44, when you write out April 4th, it sums to 144, a number of assassination. Obama ran on hope. The word hope has a gematria of 44, just like the word kill. Obama also ran on change, hope and change. Change is a word with 38 gematria, just like death. Martin Luther King Jr. was assassinated in Memphis after his supporters told him not to go there. It wasn't safe. Memphis has gematria of 38, the number of death. Memphis also has gematria of 47. This year, on the 47-year anniversary of the assassination of Dr. King, Walter Scott was shot in the back in Charleston. 74 days later, there was a shooting at a church in Charleston by a shooter named Dylan Stormroof, a fictional character. Dylan Stormroof has gematria of 74. So does Calhoun, like the street the shooting happened on. 47 and 74 are numbers of the Masons and Zionists who rule over us and provoke us with these agents. The ongoing race war. Think about the riots that broke out after the assassination of Dr. King, at least the supposed assassination. The day he was killed on was a date with 95 numerology, the reflection of 59. His assassin is said to be James Earl Ray, most definitely a patsy. James Earl Ray would die 30 years after the death of King in 98 on April 23rd, a date with 144 numerology. We just talked about the significance of 144. The word killer equals 144. This number shows up around assassination all the time. In 68, RFK died on June 6th at 1:44 in the morning. Robert Kennedy equals 66. Sirhan equals 66. Dead on 6/6. Years earlier, his brother JFK died on the first day of Sagittarius. Sagittarius has a gematria of 144. Died in Dealey Plaza, named after a 33rd degree Freemason. James Earl Ray was born March 10th, 1928, a date with a life lesson number of 33. Race war equals 33. With regards to him dying 30 years, James Earl Ray dying 30 years after Dr. King, think about this. Saturn is the keeper of time. Saturn in Gematria sums to 30, also 93, the important number on MLK and Dr. King. Saturn, the keeper of time. Time in Jewish Gematria equals 144. Time in Simple English Gematria equals 47. Again, Memphis equals 47. Dr. King dead in Memphis. What I want to do real quick is listen to Dr. King, the end of his speech from April 3rd, the 93rd day of the year, the last speech he ever gave, the day before his assassination. Listen, it sounds like he knew he was going to die.
And we've had the plane protected and guarded all night. And then I got into Memphis. And some began to say the threats, or talk about the threats that were out. Or what would happen to me from some of our sick white brothers. Well, I don't know what will happen now. We've got some difficult days ahead. But it really doesn't matter with me now, because I've been to the mountaintop. I don't mind. Like anybody, I would like to live a long life. Longevity has its place. But I'm not concerned about that now. I just want to do God's will. And He's allowed me to go up to the mountain. And I've looked over and I've seen the promised land. I may not get there with you, but I want you to know tonight that we as a people will get to the promised land. So I'm happy tonight. I'm not worried about anything. I'm not fearing any man. Mine eyes have seen the glory of the coming of the Lord.
So there it is, Truth Seeker, the day before his death, a speech that sounded like he knew his life, or at least his character as Martin Luther King Jr. was up. And again, here's Malcolm X, who died years before him. Malcolm X died on a date with a life lesson number of 44, the kill number. His assassin was named Thomas Hagen, gematria of 44. Thomas Hagen got a 44-year prison sentence. 2 days before his death, he was tipped off that he might be killed, a date with 33 numerology, a date with a life lesson number of 42. Malcolm X was pronounced dead at 3:30, 3:33. You see what's going on here, Truth Seeker? I'm going to link this video, MLK Beyond Vietnam. You have to listen to this speech. Again, these men were agents, but within their servitude to our federal government, and the powers that be, they still spoke elements of truth that are very important. This speech, one of the greatest speeches ever given. It'll be linked. Please help share my video as well. We have to spread this knowledge. We have to see what's going on. We have to stop the setup of the assassination of Barack Obama. They want a race war. They want riots. They want new legislation. They want to rule over us with tyranny. This is how they do it. Remember how they lured people in with Obama? Everyone bought the bait in 2008, but people are waking up slowly. So help me get out the message. Until next time, Truth Seeker.